This guy is Doug Wilson. I talked about him recently. He's a Christian nationalist, absolute nutcase, and he's close friends with a guy named Joe Webbon. Let's talk about a video that Doug Wilson released recently.
So it is manifest and plain that God is currently judging America, one of the most fruitful nations ever to exist, and he is judging us by turning us over to the fruitless deeds of darkness. He is letting us run headlong into the void where no fruit grows, where no harvest has ever been gathered. Fruitless.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Fruitless, right? Now he's going to take this analogy and go completely off the rails with it until it makes absolutely no sense anymore.
Pay attention to that italicized adjective, fruitless. What is anal intercourse?
Wow, that went from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, okay?
Among other things, fruitless.
No, it's not. It's not. It's fun for some people, okay? Not really my cup of tea, if you will, but it's fun for some people. They enjoy that. It's not fruitless. What do you mean by fruitless?
What do puberty blockers bring about? Fruitlessness.
No, they delay puberty for a while. What do you mean fruitlessness? Runaway analogy.
What is abortion? Violent and bloody fruitlessness.
No.
What is the dink, double income, no kids lifestyle? Fruitless.
No! Some people just... Are you kidding me? Some people just don't want to have kids. Or some people can't have kids. You ever knock that one around? And you're calling them fruitless? You're basically saying they're worthless. They're not contributing to society in any meaningful way. That's what he means when he says fruitless. You're doing nothing for us, and you should be, apparently.
Double income, no kids lifestyle. Fruitless. America has enslaved herself to the terrible bondage of orphans without consequences.
Holy Christ on a cracker. Really? This is the hill you're going to die on? Why should there be consequences tied to this? Can't a husband and a wife, do stuff without having children? Isn't that okay? No, they want to get rid of contraception entirely. I'm not even exaggerating. Again, Doug Wilson and Joel Webbon, close friends. They work together all the time. Here is a clip of Joel Webbon basically saying he wants the same thing.
We are going to behave as a Christian people. And what does that mean? It means we're going to ban pornography. It means we are going to ban no-fault divorce.
Party of small government over here. Remember all that small government stuff?
It means we are going to utterly abolish abortion, including in vitro.
Oh my God, dude. What if people want to have children? Also, all this stuff that he's saying here. First of all, he's not in a position of power. So we don't really need to worry too much about him. We could just kind of use him as a gauge for where the far right is moving and know that he doesn't really have, the authority to impose any of this stuff on us. But in an ideal world, I'm quoting him here, he would set up a situation in which women would be shot in front of a firing squad if they, accuse somebody falsely of taking advantage of them, or if they cheat on their husbands or something. He thinks they shouldn't have the right to vote, and they shouldn't have the right to work or have credit cards or anything. He wants to take women back to 1900. It's insane. Party of small government wants to ban, really,
including the hormonal birth control pill. Mm-hmm. Every single one of its forms, not just the Planned Parenthood clinic in Texas, but we're going to go down to the local CVS, and we're going to start knocking those pills off the shelf.
Okay, well, they're prescription only, so you can't do that. But why? Why don't you want birth control pills? I don't understand. Why is he so opposed to birth control? It's just like Doug Wilson said a minute ago. Consequence-free is wrong, apparently. Sleeping with somebody, consequence-free is wrong. I just don't get, why? Why? Why are they doing this?
No more human sacrifice.
Right. You think it's human sacrifice to not get pregnant? To not get pregnant at all is human sacrifice? The Plan B pill is not an abortion pill. If you are pregnant, it does not work. It will only work if it hasn't implanted yet, or it whatever. So they take it it basically forces you to have a period nearly immediately. And it's just hormones. That's it. So it guarantees Well, so the hope is that you will not get pregnant. Why is he opposed to that exactly? Why would anybody be opposed to that? And how did it get the name abortion pill? It's not.
So a civil magistrate can do that.
Yeah.
He can and should do that.
A civil magistrate can and should ban porn and IVF and the birth control pill. Holy Christ, dude. I mean, again, this is exactly what this is exactly what Doug Wilson thinks. 2 peas in a pod over here.
Without consequences. Under the weight of this severe judgment, we have demanded as our constitutional prerogative the right to become as fruitless as a dried out stick. It is our constitutional right, or so we have argued, to be struck in the forehead with the hammer of God.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I can tell that this guy is completely opposed to fun. No fun allowed. I mean, this is an older clip from him, actually. It's from, like, late April 2024, I think.
The president could issue a proclamation that acknowledged that Jesus rose from the dead, and Congress could authorize the funds to have that proclamation printed and bound, read in all the schools, and posted in all the federal courthouses.
So he's describing the process of creating a Christian nationalist state.
That could be fun. The Supreme Court could take up a new religious liberty case, ideally one with Jack Phillips in it, and in their decision they could reaffirm and reboot the decision of the Supreme Court in the 1892 Holy Trinity versus the United States case, in which the court determined that the United States was in fact a Christian nation.
I looked into this pretty heavily, and my wife is graduating law school in like a week. By the time this video releases, she may be a lawyer. Anyway, she went through this whole thing and found that this is complete bullshit, what he's saying here. There was no court case that established the idea that the United States is a Christian nation. Just delusion. And while we're talking about Christian nationalism, listen to me taking it back to Hitler again. In Germany in like the 1930s, there was a denomination of Christianity that was forming out. It was a branch from Lutheranism, and it was kind of forming into like a Nazified version where they were de-Judaizing Christianity. They were taking Judaism out completely. And it's a really complex belief system, actually. But the bottom line is that they replaced... Whoa, Jesus Christ, there's a cat here all of a sudden. No, not right now, cat. Sorry. They replaced the Jewish stuff with like Norse myths from the time in a lot of instances, or just didn't put anything in there. They couldn't get rid of like the nativity story, you know, the 3 wise men, all that. They couldn't get rid of that. They were trying to come up with a name for this denomination of Christianity, and they came up with Christian nationalists. That was the name. Actually, it was Protestant nationalists because it excluded Catholics. That was what they wanted to call themselves. But Hitler stepped in and decided that it should be German Christians. They just called themselves the German Christians. Nationalism is the thing that was, it is the defining feature of the Nazis. That is the thing that made them what they were. Extreme, out of your head, drunk on patriotism, or some feigned patriotism, not even real patriotism. And the belief that you uniquely have the right to rule in the name of your belief system. So National Socialists could have been called the Socialist Nationalists. That's what the name meant. They believed that their party had the sole right uniquely to run the government, and nobody else should be involved under any circumstances. Only the Nazis. That's why it turned into a one-party state, because they didn't think anyone else had the right to. These guys are Christian nationalists. They believe they have the sole right to run the government as Christians, as their specific brand of Christian. And that's why the Nazis called themselves at first the Christian nationalists or the Protestant nationalists. It was a tie-in to the nationalism from the Nazi Party. All of that history goes right out the window. They don't care if they even know any of that. They don't care. Even if I explained it to them, they wouldn't care. Doug Wilson, specifically. Joel Webbon. They are more interested in imposing their religion on people at any cost. Again, like one of the defining features of the Nazi regime was the fact that they controlled people, right? They limited what people could do. They set rules for everybody, and you had to follow all of those and all that other stuff. That's exactly what they're doing here. By the way, wrote a book on it. Was Hitler an Atheist? Check it out. Amazon and Audible. Got to, plug that. Anyway, I don't think these people would care even if they knew that what they're doing is exactly what Hitler did for the exact same reasons. I don't think they would care. Some of the other ideas that they have heavily pertain to women and what women are allowed to do in this new Christian nationalist state that they're trying to create. So Doug Wilson doesn't want people to be able to sleep with somebody without consequences, and he thinks God is passing judgment on the country because people have that liberty, that freedom right now. Joel Webbon wants to get rid of adult entertainment and IVF and birth control. Listen to their take on women.
We currently live at a wicked time with wicked rulers who are dominated by feminism and hate men. And so
I guess you could call me a feminist. I don't hate men. What? What are you talking about? Who hates men? I guess there are a couple of weird little nutcases that hate men, actually legitimately hate men. And that's wrong. But that is by no stretch of the imagination the majority of the country. In fact, it's almost nobody.
And so they changed the rule book. So what you're doing is not exercising your authority over men, but what we're doing is having to get creative with the wicked landscape, and you're ensuring that I have my full authority as a citizen, and that my authority, what the wicked rulers wanted to do is they wanted to strip away half of a man's authority.
The wicked rulers, the ones working for Satan, i.e. the feminists. Oh my God. Strip away half the man's authority, okay?
And what you're doing is you're conceding it back to me by voting in line with.
Wow, dude. So he's justifying his wife voting right now. He's getting reparations from his wife for losing that power to her.
With the decision that I make for our family. So.
Oh my God, dude. That is insane. Here's another one. It's actually on this exact subject. Listen to this.
Before I was ever born, because of the 19th Amendment, the way I see it,
19th Amendment is women's right to vote.
Is half of my household vote was stolen from me, and my loving, godly, wonderful wife, what we're practicing is not hypocrisy. What we're practicing is restitution.
Restitution. He is allowing her to vote as restitution to him.
My loving wife said, wicked people stole half of your vote, husband, and I would like to give it back to you. So there you go. So we voted for Donald Trump.
That is insane. So we voted for Donald Trump. Another video that he released, he said something like, if you allow women to vote, then it splits a family up. Women should not be allowed to vote because you should operate as one family unit, and allowing women to be involved in politics is causing division in the family unit. I mean, it's just insane. Women should not have an opinion, I guess, in his mind at all. And for the record, most people get with somebody that they relate to, that they connect with, that thinks like them, that holds the same values as them. A lot of the time, they agree anyway. And you know what? Even if a woman isn't political, your clashing views will manifest anyway. Politics is a part of life. Women not being allowed to go out without a man, that's political, but it affects people's lives, real life. And women just don't want that. They don't want to be forced to walk with somebody all the time. They don't want their right to have a credit card taken away or have a mortgage. What is wrong with you?
If there were one word that women should avoid, it's the antithesis of what a woman should be as the Bible speaks to women, the word would be this: loud.
Women shouldn't be loud.
For men, don't be weak. For women, don't be loud. There's a way for a woman to talk in her speech loudly. There's a way for a woman in her life, with her deeds and actions, to behave and live loudly. And everything in our culture today, women, they want you to be men.
The culture wants women to be men? No, I want women to be whatever they want to be. I don't care what a woman is. Be whatever. Be a man for all I care. I don't give a shit. He wants to take your freedom away to make those decisions for yourself. He wants to impose his decision on you. Your body, my choice, effectively, is what he is kind of embodying here, espousing.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive. If you're a young man and you're looking for good advice on how to be masculine, just look at what our culture writes for women.
Are you kidding me?
The advice that our culture everywhere gives to women is great advice for men. Be more domineering, be more assertive, be more confident, be more this, be more. What it's saying is be loud, be loud.
Okay. No, I don't think people really like others being loud around them, men or women, or obnoxious or whatever. Aside from that, culture has formed a role for women. Our culture has formed a role in which they are more mild-mannered and quiet and complacent and just agreeable and things. And people saying be more assertive is trying to break that societal construction that exists as a result of gender norms like this being enforced by nutcases like this. It's good advice because we're trying to get women to be equal to men. You want advice? Break that. Shatter the gender norm idea so that you can be who you want to be. But no, that's completely unacceptable to him. You're loud. What is wrong with him?
But what God's word says is be quiet. You can live quietly. You can speak with a quiet way. This doesn't mean that women don't talk. There's a way of talking and asking questions and being a social butterfly, and yet at the same time not having a loud spirit.
Right, so it's not the voice, not audible loudness, it's being a loud spirit, okay?
Spirit. But the last thing that I want to get to as it pertains to the seventh commandment, our text today, is this. There's a way not only of living loudly, talking loudly, but also dressing loudly. Loud dress, loud apparel, like a golden ring in the snout of a pig.
What?
So too it is with a woman who is not modest.
Dude, is that a quote? Did he quote the Bible? I've never heard that in my life. Like a golden ring in the snout of a pig? Is that what he said?
Dress, loud apparel, like a golden ring in the snout of a pig.
Like a golden ring in the snout of a pig. What does that mean? Do you have a problem with a pig having a golden ring in its snout? Why would somebody put a golden ring in a pig's snout? What does that have to do with anything? I am so confused. That sounds metal as f***, honestly.
So too it is with a woman who is not modest.
I don't what is he talking about? You just pull that out of his ass? Anyway, Doug Wilson and Joel Webbon, two peas in a pod, complete scumbags, Christian nationalists, just like the Nazified Christians were in Germany. Even shares the same name, shares the same goals. Insane. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.